The first light of dawn spilled across the tall grass, painting the sky with streaks of gold and red. A pair of figures stirred beneath the protective embrace of a fig tree. Their bodies were small compared to modern humans, with long arms and strong, curved fingers built for both climbing and gathering. They were not human as we know them, but they were something close. Her name was Nara, and beside her lay Kilo, her mate. They were part of a small band of early hominids, creatures who stood upright but still carried the shadows of their ape-like ancestors. For them, survival was a daily trial, and yet, amidst danger, there was companionship, affection, and even a sense of tenderness. Nara woke first, her dark eyes scanning the tree branches for movement. She sniffed the air. The sense of damp earth and crushed grass told her no predators had lingered nearby during the night. Her ears twitched at the distant calls of hornbills. Satisfied, she reached out and touched Kilo's arm, a silent gesture that stirred him awake. The search for food. Hunger always dictated the shape of their days. With the rising sun, the band began to move. Nara and Kilo traveled together, their movements cautious but purposeful. Kilo's sharp eyes scanned the ground for tubers or fallen fruit. Nara, more skilled at climbing, scrambled up the nearest tree to search for figs. She plucked one, testing its ripeness. It was sweet, soft, the kind of nourishment that could last them through the morning. When she dropped some to the ground, Kilo grunted his thanks. He peeled one clumsily and ate, his teeth grinding the flesh with satisfaction. Sharing food was more than survival, it was a bond. In their world, where every day might be the last, offering food was as close to love as anything else. Their band, 5 adults and 2 juveniles, fed in near silence. Words as we know them did not yet exist, but meaning passed through gestures, calls, and touches. A soft hum from Nara, a grunt from Kilo, the watchful stance of the elder male, all conveyed what needed to be said. Water and watchfulness. By mid-morning, the heat pressed down on the savannah. The band moved toward a nearby river, a place of both promise and danger. Water meant survival, but predators lurked there too. Nara and Kilo were careful. They waited at the tree lean, watching as antelopes grazed nearby. If the prey animals were calm, it was safer to approach. Still, Kilo gripped a fallen branch, ready to use it as a club. It wasn't much against the jaws of a crocodile or the claws of a leopard, but it was something. At the river's edge, Nara crouched and cupped her hands, bringing cool water to her lips. She splashed her face, sighing with quiet relief. Kilo kept watch, scanning the reeds for movement. When he drank, Nara stood guard in turn. Their care for one another was instinctive, a rhythm born of necessity but strengthened by connection. Suddenly, the crack of branches echoed across the clearing. The band stiffened. A large shape emerged on the opposite bank, a saber-toothed cat, its golden eyes locked on the water. Nara's heart pounded. Kilo growled low in his throat, warning their group. The band shuffled backward into the safety of the trees. The cat did not pursue, it crouched to drink, its muscular body reflected in the rippling water. The danger had passed, for now. Tools and discovery. Later, under the shade of an acacia, Kilo spotted a carcass, an antelope brought down earlier, perhaps by lions. The scavenged remains were dangerous to approach, but also an opportunity. Kilo picked up a sharp stone, one he had carried since yesterday. With careful strikes, he knocked flakes off its side, creating a jagged edge. Nara watched closely, fascinated. The sound of stone against stone echoed like a heartbeat of discovery. When Kilo pressed the tool against the carcass, it sliced through sinew and hide. He pried free scraps of meat, tough but edible. The band gathered to share in the prize. For them, this was not just food, it was progress. Each tool meant a new chance at survival. Nara touched the stone after Kilo, imitating his motion. Her first attempts were clumsy, but Kilo grunted approval. Together, they were shaping not only their lives, but the future of their kind. Afternoon trials. The savannah was relentless. As the sun climbed higher, shade became precious. Nara and Kilo retreated with the band into a cluster of trees. They groomed each other, picking through fur and skin for parasites. Grooming was not only hygiene, it was comfort, reassurance, and bonding. Nara leaned against Kilo, closing her eyes as his fingers combed her hair. In the quiet, with cicadas humming, the world felt safe. But danger was never far. A sudden screech split the air. One of the juveniles had wandered too close to the ground, and a massive eagle swooped down, talons flashing. Panic erupted. The elder male leapt and waved his arms, shouting loud calls. Nara screamed, throwing sticks. The bird veered away, frustrated, leaving the young one shaken but alive. Nara pulled the juvenile close, cradling him against her chest. She looked at Kilo, whose eyes met hers with relief. Their world was harsh, but they had each other, and that meant everything. Evening firelight. As dusk approached, the band returned to their resting tree. The air cooled, and the golden light softened the edges of the grasslands. They had no fire, fire would not be mastered for countless generations, but they had each other. Huddled close, they shared warmth. Nara rested her head against Kilo's shoulder. He reached for her hand, and she did not pull away. Their bond was simple, wordless, yet profound. In a world of predators, storms, and hunger, they had chosen to stay together. Every shared fig, every defended moment, every glance in the darkness was a thread binding them.